every city has what they call gentrification, right? Like what happens is you have neighborhoods that are going to transition into mid-class likeness. That's what gentrification is. So that's going to happen all the time. Whether you're a part of it or not is up to you. So essentially what happens is you need to know what part of your city is up and coming. That's all it means. And once you find out that part, whether you can do visually, like driving around because you know your city, you've been there since you were a kid, or you can use technology, which we use ListSource and do a free method of finding this. You can then find what zip codes are hot. And how they do it is they say, all right, how many cash transactions has happened in this county? And then we break it down by zip code. And then the ones that have the most cash transactions, that means somebody's buying these properties.
Follow the money.
Cash transactions, like somebody's buying a home in cash.
Cash, yeah.
So by doing that, you know if more people are buying homes in cash, more affluent people are moving into the neighborhood.
Yeah, because what happens is when somebody buys a house in cash, more than like there's no financing involved, that means it needs a flip. Right? So because you can't really buy a flip property with bank financing. Right? They won't loan you money on something that needs work. The bank is never going to take an upside down position on anything.
So what's the app called? ListSource?
ListSource.
ListSource.
Yeah, and I have a video. Like it goes more into detail, but
okay.
ListSource is of things that gives you list of anything kind of you want about people, right? But you can find out the hot properties or the hot zip codes on this way we find out how to do it.
Once you've mastered your area, one of the big things that you talk about is driving for dollars.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that technique and the intricacies of that?
That's how I got my first deal, was driving for dollars. And that just basically means you're driving around looking for distressed property, physically distressed, right? And these are
shackles
things,
hanging.
Yeah, it could be like your gutters are hanging down. Somebody hasn't cut the grass. The bushes are high. Old junky cars in the driveway that haven't moved. Now what happens is we see these every day,
right?
But your mind has already been trained to block these out. I know if you untrain yourself and looked, you'll see houses that be, yo, that house been there for 10 years. Ain't nobody ever looked at that.
Because our eyes are really trained to see like, yo, that's the nicest house on the block.
Correct. And you go past the ugliness. It's just the way we look at it.
No, I mean, even as a kid, I remember being on a school bus and you could always tell like that house is the worst house in the neighborhood. Yeah. They never cut the grass. The paint's always chipped. But growing up, you just thinking the people don't care about their home. Yeah, you're not thinking that maybe nobody lives there.
Yeah. Correct.
Maybe it's a distressed property.
Correct. So once you find that distressed property, you need to find the owner. And so my buddy Dave Lecko created an app called Deal Machine, which allows you to drive around, take a picture of the property, and it pinpoints it. And it actually will send a postcard to the owner asking if they want to sell that.
On your behalf?
On your behalf for you.
It's called Deal Machine?
Yeah, with your number on it.
Wow.
So you can customize this postcard. So, but that's like fairly new technology. When I started, they didn't have that. We had to go around taking screenshots of pin drops on like Apple Maps or something like that, and then go back home and search who owns it.
So we got the property and we're driving for dollars, and then you had something called skip tracing.
Yeah, so that's important. So skip tracing, essentially where that word skip tracing came from. So I used to be a bounty hunter, a bail bondsman.
Really? Yeah.
So that's one of dog
right? Dog the bounty hunter.
I was better than dog. I just had no TV show.
Oh, for real? Yo, this guy does it all.
So skip tracing means that you're skipping you're tracing a skip. Essentially what that means is somebody who does not go to court is considered a skip, and you need to trace them down. So that's where the word comes from.
Right.
But now we're not really dealing with that. We're dealing with people that own houses that we can't find them. So essentially what happens is you find a house with the tall grass, you take a picture of it, you write down the address, you need to know who owns it. So you go on the county records. Every single property in America is owned by somebody or something, right? So in every county, there's a tax assessor's website, right? So I can look up who owns any house in America. So you go to that county's website. So here, I think it'd be Westchester County Tax Assessors, right? And then you would put in the address of the property and it'll say, oh, this person owns that property. Now I need to get a hold of that person. So skip tracing is where you put that person's name and mailing address into the system, and it's going to spit out the numbers that this person has.
Like
cell phone numbers.
Telephone numbers?
Yeah.
Wow.
What's it called? Skip tracing?
Skip tracing.
.com?
REIskip.com. REIskip.
And that's yours.
Yeah. So that was part of that was part of how I got big because I knew, because of my old background of skip tracing humans. It's the same thing. I got to skip trace humans, but now I have their name and their address.
Did you get this from military training? Like,
no, it was just something that we developed as bounty hunters.
So you flipped it because before you were looking for people that you actually had to arrest.
Yeah.
And flipped it into now I'm looking for the person that owns this house.
Simple.
I need your number. I'm calling you up.
That's it.
Off topic a little bit. When were you a bounty hunter? When were you going to tell us about this?
Yeah.
Yo,
I got mad. I got 10 to 12. I used to have a car lot. I used to have all types of stuff, man. I was a bounty hunter in between while building that app and getting in the real estate.
Wow.
Yeah.
In North Carolina?
It actually traveled into, like, I'm still licensed.
In North Carolina?
Yeah, I'm still licensed as a bounty hunter because
Three jobs.
Three
jobs.
You know already. So because I had to have. I'm still a licensed bounty hunter, and I'm still a licensed bondsman because I get access to data most people don't get. I get the same data the cops get.
And you've leveraged it.
Yeah, I leveraged that small, license into millions.
Now,
of
you know
dollars.
what thing I like, because like a lot of our guests have similar stories where they've had troubling times and they had to like figure things out, and then a lot of our guests have similar stories where they use things in their past to help them. Like, you ever heard John Henry?
Yeah, of course.
So John Henry, shout out to John. He was talking, his story. He was a doorman.
A doorman at the hotel.
And he came up and he started $1 million cleaning business, but his marketing plan was to go to other doormen and get them to refer their residents. He paid them. But long story short, he was saying like he can't call himself a genius for that because that's what he knew. He knew the doorman industry because he was a doorman.
Yeah.
Like, you were a bounty hunter, but it's like you knew like I can get people's information from this. Now I'm in real estate. How can I commingle this and actually make it all work?
And that's why your failures are your biggest successes, because that failure made me make millions. It just put me in a different category.
And that's important for people to understand too, because a lot of times everybody's doing something, and even like your path to success might be totally different from what you're currently doing, but you can still use what you did in the past in some capacity to help your success in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now we got that. We got the address. How do we get the property under contract?
So you're gonna call a person and you simply gonna have a conversation. A lot of people. This is where a lot of people fall short. People hate talking to people that they don't know.
Elevator script.
Yeah. So we've developed a lot of scripts over the time, but it's real simple. Immediately you need to identify who you are. Hey, my name is Max. I'm a local real estate investor. Right? That puts their guards down. But if somebody calls you and says, hey,
You have a moment of your time.
yeah, done. I'm hanging up. You ain't even getting past that. Especially in New York, you're not getting past that at all. You might even get a pickup.
Banging on you.
Yeah. So then somebody's intrigued. Okay, well, you're a real estate investor. I was going past the property down on 123 Main Street, and I think you may own it. I was wondering if you were interested in even selling it at all. That's simple. You're gonna get yes, no, or maybe, or you're gonna a lot of FUs in between there, right? So, or you got the wrong number, right? Do you know who owns that property?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I own that property. Okay, well great. Are you thinking about selling it? Well, I got it from my mom, and I actually live in the city now. And I don't. It needs some work, and I really don't have the time, and I don't want to keep paying the taxes. Okay, well, I'm a real estate investor. I actually specialize in buying properties like this. Would you be interested in a cash offer? Actually, I would be. And then that's when you start that negotiation. Well, great. Well, what number were you looking for? What can I give you cash that would just make you walk away from it? And then that starts. That's called anchoring.
Yeah.
Making somebody give you a price to anchor themselves on.
And that doesn't happen just in, a lot of people think that can't happen in affluent neighborhoods, but you said
all the time.
Absolutely, that's where you should be looking.
Yeah, I mean, for us in the South, like a $250,000 house is a nice neighborhood, right? So I own a couple of those, right? Off of people that, it happens a lot. People inherit things that they don't want. I mean, not in our culture, but there's a lot where people like really will inherit a $250,000 house with some acreage and be like, yo, I live in Denver. I don't want to go back to mom's house. I remember having Christmas there in '93. I don't want to.
I'm trying to go back.
I'm not trying to go back. So things like that. And then just, there's so many different ways why people don't want a house. It's like a car. But
It's pretty common. Like you said, not in our communities.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Never happens. No. It's pretty common in other communities, for sure. And you'll be surprised.
But actually, it happens more than we actually think in our community. We just don't realize. You know, like because it's considered a hood, so you don't want grandma's house.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
And you just let it go for tax delinquent.
That's true.
And then somebody like me comes and buys it for $10,000.
Yeah.
So as a wholesaler, the person, you're always offering cash offers. It's always have to be cash offers.
Yeah, because no bank is going to finance
bank
that.
is gonna
Yeah,
finance
so you got to go find somebody else that's in the business of flipping properties.
So we're talking private or hard money loans?
Typically, yeah, they can have access to private or hard money loans. Private is through relationships. Hard money is going to be through your resume, essentially, right?
Yeah.
You know, you flipped 7 houses this year. Of course, we'll loan you money because you know what you're doing. Private money is based off of, I know you got some money sitting in your IRA and you want to put it to work. But yeah, you want to find that person that makes his money through flipping. You know, one thing I understand is that people have money, they got to spend it. Right, so it depends just where you at on that food chain.
Yeah, and people that have money always want to make more money.
That's how they live.
Yeah.
They in the I quadrant of their life.
So we got the contract. Now we got to get to the closing.
No,
Yeah.
before the closing.
Oh, okay.
So I had a question. All right. So cold calling is essentially cold calling when you're people are because very few people understand cold calling.
Yeah.
I've done cold calling before. And I don't like it.
Nobody,
I don't like it.
a lot of people don't.
So, but I can see how this can stop people from actually moving forward, right? This is a big thing.
Yeah,
it's
it
not if you've never done it before, you can't fully appreciate. It's like one of the most nerve-wracking things you can do. Like literally, you make up every excuse in the world not to cold call. Like you're like walking around the neighborhood, you get lunch. You'll say it's too early.
It's too late.
It's too late. I'll call tomorrow. You make all kinds of excuses. So. How do you? Because you have to. Either that or you're knocking on somebody's door.
Every deal ends on the phone. Every single deal you do, whether you like it or not, is going to end up on the phone at some point in time.
So, what do you tell people to ease their nerves to cold call?
One thing we do is we give them scripts.
Right? Oh, they have to make it up.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you your scripts, and then I'm going to give you your most common rebuttals. So that you can have an answer, right? So if you're going to ask your mom and you always know what she's going to say, it's more easy for you to ask a question because you already got the answer because you know her response. So it's the same thing. Like when you go talk to these strangers, these people you don't know, they got 3 answers, 3 or 4 different answers they're going to give you, and you need to be able to rebuttal those things.
You know what got me over my fear of cold calling too? Personally, I still don't do a lot of cold calling, but it just got me out of my because I was terrified by it. I had to sit down and say, "Am I going to die?" If you're not going to die, it's not that bad.
Did you make money from cold calling ever?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. And at the end of the day, the worst, they don't know you, and the worst they can say is no.
Or cuss you out. Who cares?
We're gonna move on to the next call.
Yeah, it's just they don't know you.
Yeah.
Just keep going, keep moving. You get cussed out in the subway here all the time anyway, so that should be normal.
Don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal.
If it's not going to kill you, it's not that serious. That's how I look at it. So, what is the maximum allowable offer?
So the MOA is the maximum amount of money that you can offer on this property and still make a profit. So I'll break it down. So if a house is worth $100,000 fixed up, right? We found that out by doing comparable properties. We seen that the house down the street sold for $100,000, very similar square footage, bedrooms and baths. The house up there sold for $98,000. So now we're in that $100,000 range. So we know that the flipper is going to fix this and sell it for $100,000. So let's just say $100,000. Now in my market, it's lukewarm. It's not like an LA or a Phoenix or New York where properties go above and beyond asking price a bunch, right? So we minus 30% from the actual ARV, the after repair value of the property, right? So now if you did that, 100,000 minus 30%, you're at 70,000.
Yep.
And let's just say you walk that house and you went in there and you think it needs $20,000, $25,000 in just say $20,000 in repairs. So you know that this flipper is going to spend $20,000 to get it to the point where he can actually put it on the market for $100,000. So you're going to deduct that. So we went from 100 to 70 minus repairs. Now we at 50. So if you actually buy this property at $50,000 right now, it's actually a good deal for the flipper. But you ain't made no money yet, right?
As a wholesaler.
As a wholesaler, you didn't get no.
Right. So if the flipper himself knocked on this door, talked to him, he'd be able to buy at 50. but you need to make some money. So you need to throw a pad or a buffer in there. So you need to be offering, if you want to make 10,000, your maximum allowable offer needs to be 40,000. Right? So now you're going to sell your contract for 50, 40 for the 40 that they got to buy the house, 10 for your assignment, total of 50, right? Now we're back where the flipper is going to make some money. But if you want it at 40, you're never going to offer 40. You're going to offer below that.
30.
Yeah, so you deliver 30. So typically 15% below what you want is where you want to be at. So that you do that, you put you around $36,000, $34,000.
Gotta have the win built in.
Exactly. The win built in. And you never know. They might take 30. You never know.
Yeah, right. You come up with 20 off
So
of that.
let me ask you this, because essentially, it's like a middleman situation, right?
This whole world is about the most richest companies in the world are middlemen.
True.
Amazon, Walmart,
True.
Uber,
Airbnb.
they don't own anything. They're middlemen. Look, Amazon's a logistic company. They don't make products. They house products that other people make, and you buy them.
And cloud storage.
Yeah.
pretty
Car
much.
dealerships. You can't buy a car in America without going through a dealership. They're middlemen. They don't make the car.
Shout out to your boy.
They're middlemen. Middlemen make the most money in America. You got to solve a problem with convenience.
True. This is true. So that's true. But my question is, all right, but why not? Why is it more appealing, in your opinion, to be on that side of it as opposed to just buying it, like just being an investor?
Yeah.
Is more risk involved being an investor?
It's a lot more risk.
More
involved.
money involved too, right?
More risk and more risk, more money. But do you want a fast nickel or a slow dime? Depends on your business model. I see this a lot. I see where wholesalers think it's a negative connotation to the name, and they want to be flippers. And then I see flippers looking at wholesalers and wanting to be wholesalers.
Because they see the profit margins higher.
The risk versus reward. Now, could Amazon make every single product they have in the store? Absolutely. Do they want to take that risk of holding inventory that they own? For what?
A fast nickel or a slow dime. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So if we're doing this, if we're wholesaling as a side thing, right?
Yeah.
How many properties do you think we have to do before it becomes a full-time situation?
It depends, right? Everybody has their freedom mark. You know, I always used to say if I made 6 figures, I'd be great.
Right.
We know that's not
until you made 6 figures.
And so like it just depends where you want to be at.
Right.
Now some people love their job. So like I've spoken to school teachers, they love their job. They're passionate about what they do. But if they can get 1 property a month and make an extra 10 grand a month,
they'll stop teaching.
No, they're gonna keep teaching.
No.
Because they like
it just
teaching.
supplements your lifestyle.
Yeah,
right.
Because it gives you what you want. Now I've had people say that and then actually quit.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
About that teaching.
Yeah, so
Easy.
Not coming to work tomorrow.
So it really depends on your lifestyle where you want to be at.
Right.
For me, I wanted to run a multi-million-dollar company, so we do between like 7 and 12 deals a month sometimes.
Okay.
And you know that's where we at, and we're not the largest. You know, we got guys across the country doing way more deals than that, but my overhead's pretty thin, and we have a good lifestyle doing what we do.
So what would be obviously depends on the market, but like in your market, what's the profit margin on an average deal for
Our
you?
average deal is 13.3.
13,300.
Yeah, we track our KPIs pretty well.
What's KPI? What does that mean?
Key performance indicators. So you need to know. I need to know how much money I'm spending to get a deal, right? How many calls do I need to make to get a yes, right? And then did you start to get an average? How much money do I spend on this marketing effort before it turns into an appointment? How many appointments do I go on before it turns into a contract? And if you know your numbers in your business, and this is any business, then you can scale.
So you're doing 13,000 a deal, and you're doing 13 of those a month.
So it's like 100.
Well,
160?
our top end's 12, right? Between 7 and 12 deals a month. So we're average around like 10.
Let's say if you do 10, so you're talking about 130,000
Yeah.
a month.
A month, yeah.
Good calendar.